Warren, how satisfied or otherwise were you with the performance today?
Very satisfied.
With what aspects?
The win. Very satisfied with the win. Yeah.
What about the performance within that result?
It wasn't a great performance, you know, but sometimes you got to win ugly, and we didn't play that well. But said to the boys in the change rooms afterwards, we'll take the win and we'll move on and start thinking about England.
How about players coming in? How many of them posed you the sort of questions in selection that you wanted?
Look, it was for us. There's the bigger picture that we were looking at for the first two games, and that's looking at having the opportunity to get away for a week with a squad of 31 and replicating, you know, potentially what could happen in the World Cup. You know, probably if that was normal, a normal year without the Six Nations, on reflection, maybe wouldn't have made so many changes. But we wanted to give everyone in that 31 an opportunity to be involved in the first two games, and like we didn't play as well today as we would have liked, and probably be a part of that is that we didn't have the continuity that we would have had from last week if we hadn't made so many changes. So, you know, we got out of jail, or didn't really get out of jail. I didn't think we were ever going to look like we were going to lose the game, but we just didn't. We weren't as accurate as we possibly could have been.
Sorry, Alex, please.
Warren, what did you make of Thomas Young's performance? And the back row seemed to go quite well, I thought, as a trio.
Yeah, I thought the back row were excellent. I thought Aaron Wainwright was good, and obviously Josh Navidi was given the man of the match. I thought the loose forward trio worked really well together. I thought Thomas was good, particularly in the first half. I thought he had a strong performance. So, you know, it's a position, well, the loose forwards area, and we know how much competition we've got in that area, and I thought that trio, as a young trio that pretty inexperienced, did exceptionally well.
James, please.
Warren, do you regret making that many changes now when you look back at it?
I don't regret anything. I said on reflection, was looking at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture also is for us and the coaches in our last year. We want to have, you know, as good a World Cup as we can. So that was the plan all along. So there's no regrets in terms of that, because we're 2 from 2, and we've got a couple of weeks before England and a couple of weeks of training. So that'll set us up nicely for the England match. You know, we'll go away here. A lot of people will be writing us off, which is a good position to be in, and we can just hopefully come in under the radar and have 2 good weeks of training and get ourselves, you know, mentally and physically right.
Were you disappointed though in the way they played? In terms of strength and depth, were you disappointed?
Disappointed. Look, I think the players are disappointed as much as anyone else. We said at half time we expected that Italy would be tough, as they always are in that first half, and we got into half time, them having made a lot of tackles in that first half, we had a lot of territory in possession. We created a couple of opportunities, and in the second half again we created a couple of opportunities that we didn't finish, and you know, probably that's the number of changes that we made in the side. But I said we'll put that game behind us, and we've come away with a win, and that's the most satisfying thing about that. And you know, the great thing about sport and rugby is that you're not always brilliant, and we weren't brilliant today, and like I said, we will be a lot better against England.
David Tracy.
Thanks. Warren, over here. Did you have to make changes perhaps a bit earlier than you might have intended, instead of giving people like Alan Wynne a bit more of an easy time of it?
No, I think we've been making changes around about those sort of same times. You know, our tight forwards haven't had a lot of rugby recently. Nicky Smith hasn't played a lot. Samson again, and both second rows haven't played a huge amount of rugby this year as well. So the plan was always to try and bring people on, which we have been doing in the last 6 or 7 matches, sort of in that 45 to 50 minutes mark, making a few changes, and then adding everyone that we felt could come in. I thought the bench was excellent. I thought they came on and gave us some real impact, and that's what we've been looking for. And they have been doing that in recent games as well. They've been outstanding, the bench, and again, they were good today.
Warren, Italy has now lost 19 consecutive games, but in those 19 games, this is the first time they draw the tri-count. Do you think they deserved more today?
I thought Italy played exceptionally well. I thought the best part of their game was their defence. I thought their line-out was good. And they made it tough for us and defended it exceptionally well. There's no doubt that they're a lot fitter than they have been in the past, and you know, they look to play some rugby, and they created a couple of opportunities. So I thought from that point, you know, a lot of people are looking to criticise us, but you've got to give Italy some credit for how they played. They played exceptionally well, and you know, go back to the autumn, I think it was a really tight game against Australia for the first 35 minutes. And they're a tough team to break down here in Rome, and they look. And for me, that's probably the best Italian performance that I've seen since I've been in charge of Wales against Italy. So.
Guys, please.
Warren, you've won 11 games in a row now. You've equalled the Welsh record. You could beat it with a victory over England. What does that mean to you?
We didn't speak about the record this week at all. We will probably talk about it before England and how significant that could be, and particularly for this group of players, if they do, you know, achieve that, it's you know, something that no one can ever take away from them, and that's the nice thing about records and doing things, and once you've achieved them, it's there for life. So until someone else comes and breaks a record, obviously. But yeah, we've got a chance. We're at home, stadium full, and be some atmosphere at the Principality Stadium, and there'll definitely be no lack of motivation in trying to, one, beat England, and you know, secondly, break that record.
Final one, please, Nick.
Jonathan, how did you enjoy the captaincy experience, and what are your thoughts on facing England?
No, I enjoyed it. I think it's something new to me, but you know, I've had good support from the senior players, and yeah, you know, I think it was a case of, you know, in the pack especially, some boys fronting up and stepping up to, you know, to be a voice. I think you look at that pack, there isn't much experience there, but you know, with some of the performances today, I thought, you know, they gave a great account of themselves, and you know, I've enjoyed it. Grateful to get the win, and you know, hopefully the main man will be back in 2 weeks' time.